Thank you for coming. We're going to do a RunSignup CRM presentation for you, give you a little bit of an idea of what CRM is and what we do.
What is CRM? CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. That's refers to tools used to manage and track data of participants and data collected throughout the race lifecycle. We know you will build great events, keep your participants coming back, and want to attract new participants as well. So having the data all in one place helps you service customers and manage the information you collected about them. The RunSignup in and of itself is CRM. And what we're going to talk about today is why CRM is useful and how RunSignups is making these features more powerful and easier to use. We'll break down the list building, communication tools, and best practices you need to harness the power of integrated CRM. So we will start on why do you need a CRM? Why do you need a CRM? Eric, why do we need a CRM?
So really, CRM is great for helping to manage all of your data about your existing participants and your constituents and your users. So it strengthens relationships with your participants because now all of a sudden you know more about them. You can increase your customer retention rate because here is your customers. They're already in your database for RunSignup. Now you're able to actually target them for other promotional reasons, cross-promote races. You can actually build lists that are unique on a demographic, a geographic location, whatever it may be. You can actually start to build those lists to market to them. The other thing that you can do is actually put notes in. So if you have a sponsor or a politician or you have a family member that you want to keep notes on. I was just downstairs doing the small group, and the value for this person was through the roof on an individual race participant. It's not a 5K, it's these crazy ultra triathlons that he's putting on, and the average participant pays about $15,000 to attend. So he should have a lot more notes in there. So when he goes in, he's like, oh, this is that guy that did Alaska Man 3 years ago. Well, he already has that. But what did he tell you? Oh, yeah, he's getting married, whatever it may be, that now you build this really unique relationship with your participants. Well, some of you have 100,000 participants. It's very hard to do that. So what I would be doing is taking notes on the key constituents or your key members that you have. And it may be simple things like this person always asks for a refund or always asks for a deferral, and I don't want to do it. It could be something about a sponsor, which is like, hey, they were a sponsor, so I'm going to put it in here now that they're a participant. I want to make sure that I reach out to them again. So you can do that through our notes. You can also build additional lists off of those type of things. So it also allows you, because of those notes, to facilitate some of your team communication. So at any point in time, anyone that is managing participant data can see those notes. They can also see the value of your participant because right at the top is basically how much money have they donated or fundraised and how many events have they participated in your database. Those are pretty important. Long term, we'll probably customize it so you can actually see overall value to you as a participant. So it might show dollar amount paid for registration as another thing. So
talk about the 4 ways for CRM engagement with channels, targeting, promotions, and participant management. Through channels, you can think of race website, Facebook, expos, training groups, etc. For targeting, specific targets like fundraisers who raised over $250 last year, or participants who have run your race 5 times, in the past. Registrants who signed up for more than 2 months for the race last year, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of promotions, think of this is how you get them to engage. So that's an important thing about. You obviously want to get your participants to engage. It might be through a loyalty program where a special registration period, it could be a team size competition with the largest team getting their own VIP area. Participant management, in terms of when you're looking at engagement. This is where you take care of details of managing your participants, as Eric was mentioning a little bit earlier, and obviously we're going to go into more detail with all of this when we get into how RunSignup works for you. So this enables a self-way that drives incremental revenue and so much more as every race director enters. So why RunSignup CRM? This quote is a good summation of why the power of any CRM is good data that exists within a single platform. And RunSignup CRM is built on your participant data and integrated at the core of all RunSignup tools that is released. So,
and it's actually expanding, obviously. Over the next 3 to 4 months, we'll be adding a lot of that ticketable events from the GiveSignup that everyone's avoiding right now. The other presentation, big presentation. So that will funnel in. Think about your volunteers. We're planning on putting all of that data into the CRM long term. So when you actually pull up a profile on a person, you'll actually start to pull up even more information on every single thing. So my envision, I would say, as we get down that 10-year path, you'll be able to see your sponsors. We already have a sponsor platform. We already sort of know who those people are. You'll actually be able to see, hey, this is a profile that is a sponsor-related profile, and on and on and on. So you just start to see, while we say it's participant data, we also know it's going to be volunteers. It's going to be, fundraisers. It's going to be donors. It's going to be your sponsors, and so on and so forth.
What makes it different?
So one of the cool things about our platform is that we happen to have your data coming in live. And therefore, because it's integrated into our platform, we're already matching a lot of your participants based on their user ID. So it's pretty simple to go, hey, Eric Cohn signed up for 15 races because here's Eric Cohn's profile. And therefore, your data hygiene is almost perfect. I can go into my profile and change my name if I get married. I'm just got married, but I'm not changing my name. And if I move addresses, I can do that. It all flows through to your CRM at that point in time. So you don't have to worry about maintaining your data hygiene. And that is a huge benefit to you. All of that is sort of taken care of in our platform for you. And the idea now is that you don't have to worry about that. You can continue to execute on putting on phenomenal races. The other thing with ease of use, our platform is built for race directors. So when you go to filter, the user interface is actually smart enough to tell you, you're trying to find people in your geographic location that have participated in these races. You don't have to determine that you have to use this specific tag to equal this race and then do it 5 times to figure out how to find a specific person for a race. Instead, you literally choose, hey, I want to find people in this race. And it's that simple. There is no third or fourth layer of logic that you're trying to understand to create a simple filter. So it's so much easier. Obviously, we're a cloud-based company in the Amazon cloud primarily, so we scale. Everything we build is built to scale. Everything is real-time, like I had already mentioned. When someone registers or donates, all of it's there. It's secure. And at this point, you can generate dynamic lists very quickly and easily. And those lists are actually dynamic in the sense that once you've saved them, you can go back right in, and if someone already registered, that list has already changed. If someone changed their profile, that list may have potentially changed. So that is the power of having it all integrated. There is no shipping it off to a third-party CRM.
Harness the power of your race CRM. You want to engage participants as customers. Why? Because that's what they are. Makes sense, right?
So really, you're trying to grow. You're re-engaging your existing customers. There's really a couple ways to actually look at this. One is you are trying to target your existing customers and grow their overall value as a participant in your organization and all of your races. So you're trying to engage them again and again, get them to participate again this year, potentially cross-promote another race that you already have. The other thing that is actually very important to understand is that you also can use your data from the CRM to go into Salesforce and do a similar audience. So a custom audience that is going to match a very unique set of filters. So you can go, hey, I have a huge audience of 100,000 people across 5 states. I'm putting in a race on the southern side of those 5 states. I don't want to target everyone 3, 4, 500 miles away because it's a 5K. So you can build a geo-targeted one, take that list, go over to Salesforce or to Facebook, and go, I want to target this unique list of about 20,000 people. And that is completely possible to do. And that allows you to cut down on your marketing spend, and yet you're targeting people that aren't yours right now. So that expands your audience in a way also. Obviously, you're going to be able to analyze the success of your campaigns through that as well. So, and then long term, obviously, you want to see what your year-over-year retention rate is. Right now, you can do that at a race level. The long term is going to be literally go, hey, I want to see how many people did it with this race, and then they crossed over because they moved to that 5th state or north. Now all of a sudden they're doing my races up north. So you'll actually be able to do that. You can do that somewhat right now. It's not as intuitive as we'd like, but we are working on improving that.
Then we're going to talk about the RunSignup CRM. We'll go through stages of participant search and profile, notes, list, promotion, and list export.
So right now you're looking at a Bob Bickle, right? We all know Bob. He's awesome. Look at how many races he's actually done. 72. We know he's really fast, so we don't really want to know his times because he might have walked a couple of those. He has actually referred 4 people. So you can actually see total referrals. He's donated or actually helped with about 292 donations, dollar donation amounts, and then he has helped fundraise 2,000. With this, you're actually looking at the events, so you can actually see all of those 72 events. You can go in by year, and this list would go on and on. So you actually can go in at any point in time. You're now looking at that profile, so you can actually manage that registration record at any point in time. Go in, and at this point, you can go, all right, I found Bob. I want to go in and find all the races he's done and manage those records. The other thing that you can do, see the referrals. You'll actually be able to go in and also check those notes that I mentioned. So Bob is important. Clearly, it looks pretty important to me. He's done 72 races. You can put some extra notes in there if you want something.
Is it possible to link results to that profile?
That is actually on our list. So just so you're aware, Jeff is one of the core developers. He's sitting in. He's also moderator here. We have Bob, Steven, Jeff, and I have a Excel spreadsheet of about 150 filters that we plan on adding over the next three years, and that will actually now expand because of the ticketable events and some other things. The first goal is really to change the underpinning of our CRM this fall so that we can ramp that up, multiply the number of filters. So results will be one of those there's a whole tab of about 50 results-based filters that we will add. So gives you an idea. And I'm literally talking, we have hundreds of filters that we plan on adding. They will not all be first level filters, so there might be an advanced. You'll go in and find some of those advanced filters, but the first level, we're trying to keep it simple. And then from there, you'll be able to build compound filters and have some of those more advanced filters. So CRM notes, I already made mention of it. The one thing that I can tell you is if you've added the notes, it doesn't show that you were the one that added it, but if someone else added it, the username or user that added the note will show up. So we're logged in right now. It doesn't show you that. Well, actually it does. So this is Matt Sinclair added this note. Matt Sinclair added that note. If it wasn't Matt and it was you that added it, it doesn't show that it was you that added it. So that's important to know. So when you're adding those notes, you can actually see.
Does the user see the note?
No. So CRM lists, this is probably why most of you are in here. You want to know how to build a list. So the current iteration or version of our CRM allows you to actually create lists based on the races that you have, the events, and the years. So that's that top box. And then from there, you can also filter on your participant location. So that's where they live. Loyalty would be how many times have they done a race that you are currently a race director for. Demographics is going to be age range, and it's going to be gender, so male, female. And then lastly, we actually have a way to create a list based on context. So if you wanted to create a list that is basically your sponsors, you can go in there and create a list that is just unique contacts, and you can manage that list. So one of the things that's important to understand about this is that when you are creating this list, there is some logic behind it. So when you add races, every race, whether it's the whole way down to a specific year or at a high level race, if you add a second one, that is an or. So you're going to go, hey, I'm going to do the Broad Street Run or the Philadelphia Marathon. So it's going to take a list and say anyone that did one or the other, and that is now, in a sense, a sub-filter. And then let's say you want to do the demographics on that. You go, I want to find only the females that are age 30 to 40. So that's going to now create a secondary list that is all the females age 30 to 40, and it's going to take and merge those two. So it's going to say they have to be in each of those, and now that's your unique list. Okay? So that does not solve some very unique use cases that we're very aware of. So if you're putting on the Philadelphia Challenge, like they do here in Philadelphia, which is everyone that does Broad Street in Philadelphia, there's no correct way to do that right now, where you can do an and. Very aware of that. That will be taken care of soon. So you'll actually be able to create challenges and go, hey, you know what? Before I even create a challenge, I want to know how many people did this. So you can go into last year's data and go, that would be a good challenge. I'm going to put them all together. Now I'm going to attack that market and see if I can grow those challenge participants from 10% of my race to 20%. So are there any questions related to that? It's pretty complex, but. So if you actually are at the race level currently, you can go into CRM, create a list. And then you can, this is just participants, so we'll jump in. There's actually ones for donors, fundraisers also.
Under the races, can you do a specific event? So like target just 5K runners or half marathon runners?
So there is no way currently to do event distance filters. That is on the list of filters, and type for that matter.
So can this be done across multiple events?
Yes, so this is every race that you, so the question, sorry, I need to repeat the question. So the first question was, can we filter based on event distance? 5K, 10K participants only. We do not have that. You guys probably know your races and events pretty well. You could actually go in and, sorry, but you're going to have to add each one, right? And that would be one way to do it. Long term, we are going to do by distance. What was the question again?
So we have our multiple races.
Yeah, so the data that is currently available is every race that you currently are race director for. Okay? So if you have race director access, that data is currently available to you. One thing that you need to be aware of for larger organizations that have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 employees, they may not all have race director access. So therefore, they have race director access to 3 out of the 10. Your filtered list is going to show one thing, their filtered list is going to show something different. So that's something that you need to be aware of, and we likely are going to change that model again in the fall so that you can create a unique database, more or less, that you can share with people that you want to help manage your CRM. Yes.
This might be relevant, but in regards to the loyalty program, so I can do a search and create a list where I say, 20 events. And someone might not show up because they have, set up for the first 3 years for this email, this bucket for this email, this email. So if you go into it, they don't show up as a 20 pluser, they show up as a 5 pluser. But when you go to the profile, it'll say like 33 or 34 because it was married at some point. So their profile shows multiple emails. But the loyalty program, you create a list that doesn't show.
That's a good question. So I know that we will address that actually. So one of the things that you have to be aware of is so everyone's aware we're working on sales tax, right? Stephen was actually supposed to be working on CRM, but because of the big liability that we hold and you guys hold with sales tax, we decided that Stephen needs to be diverted off of CRM and put on sales tax. So that's really the reason why we have not addressed that specific issue. That is the primary issue and the other related to that. So the question was, hey, I have this user that has 2 different email addresses. They're very loyal. They have 20 races, and yet they don't show up as 20 because they have 10 here and 10 here, right? It's the same person, but they use their work address here and their personal email address here. So in the next 3 months, we're addressing that along with the ability to import all this historical data where they used exact.com email address, right? Now they've been married, divorced, and moved 5 times. We're going to do the magic of trying to match all those people together, and you will actually have a true loyalty picture on everyone, all the way back to however old data you have, right? So that'll address 2 issues immediately, and it actually addresses a couple others down the road, which is like the tickets. We don't have user accounts on tickets. So the idea is that we're going to address that. We know tickets has actually helped. This is an example of how it's going to kick the butt of our development team, which is like, oh, everyone on tickets wants that, right? So now all of a sudden, RunSignup people are going to get a greater CRM because of that. So does that answer your question? So one of the primary ideas is obviously when you create a CRM list or you're using the CRM, we're trying to create a promotion the vast majority of the time. We do see other reasons, results related. You want to send out very unique results emails. But the primary action that we see for CRM is promotion related. So the idea that we had last year when we started the CRM process is we were trying to identify the primary actions that you were going to use for CRM, and one of the biggest ones was creating promotions. So the idea is that you can go in, you can create a coupon code or use an existing coupon code, and then from there you can compose an email, review it, and create a list to send it to. So this iteration, it works really well actually. You'd be amazed at how well this works. I just don't know how complex you really want to take it, if it's going to apply to everyone here. A lot of you have, more than 3 events, and therefore it starts to get a lot more complex than the current iteration of CRM that we have. What you have to understand is that we have 20,000 races, and the vast majority of them are one race on one account using our CRM perfectly. When you get into a race that is a race organization that has 20 or 50, it gets a lot more complicated and complex, and this doesn't work perfectly. We're very aware of that. So, we're addressing that, but this does work really well for individual races if you're trying to target specific users within that race. All right, so one of the cool features that I love about our CRM is you create a list, okay? And now all of a sudden you have this targeted list and you want to email it. And you're like, your email platform, Eric, it's not the best. I use MailChimp. You can actually export, right? You can export to MailChimp. You can do a CSV. You can take that CSV, like I was mentioning earlier, and go over to Facebook and create a similar audience. All right? Adding this north race or add this southern race to my 5 states that I currently go after, I'm going to take this targeted list and I'm going to go over to Facebook and I'm going to hammer on Facebook to give me similar people. And now all of a sudden, instead of you trying to promote to every single person that's in your database, you're able to target very specifically to a very similar audience via this export. And obviously, you can use the export for other things. There's tons of things you might want to use it for. You can take it over to Constant Contact. You can use it to any of those types of other platforms.
Does it go the other way too? If I've been using MailChimp, can I put my MailChimp information into RunSignup?
So the question was, can I take my MailChimp information and put it into RunSignup? That's not really related to CRM per se. So my recommendation for you would actually be, if you have old historical registration data, import it as a race, whether it was 2012, right? And that'll allow you to see loyalty for that one race. You can pull up those loyalty reports now. You can email those people. If you have a generic email list and you don't know where those people came from, you can import that into our email engine right now and just create a list. There is no way to create a generic CRM list, but what you could do is if you still wanted it to be somehow related in the CRM, you could import it as a fake race and you just go, hey, here's this fake race of MailChimp data. So key takeaways for me, I know we have a long way to go. We've done a ton of work already on it. The best part about it is that it is integrated into your platform, so you don't have to worry about data integrity and hygiene. A lot of that is already taken care of. It will get a little messier as we add ticketable events, and we are going to work on addressing that. It does get a little messy if you're trying to import data from basically 2000 to 2010, where email address and email providers don't exist anymore, like at home and Excite. Because I've done a lot of that importing for clients and helping with it. So we're going to try and address those older, those data files, if you will. But the biggest thing that I can say is that we're really excited about where we're headed with CRM. I can tell you, Jeffrey and I had probably a 6-hour conversation or meeting about it. We're really excited where we're going with it. We know that the integrated solution is going to actually be a home run for you. And when it comes time that we finally get to that point, you're going to actually probably walk away from MailChimp. That's my opinion. You're going to walk away from a lot of your email service providers because the cost of email is actually just going way high right now. Every single email provider is starting to increase cost. And when you can actually build your own custom list and immediately email it out, I mean, it's a home run for you guys. So I'm expecting that to roll out within the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, so fun quick hack with that. You guys can still keep your free MailChimp account and use the email editing tools, and then test view in browser, right click view source code, copy, paste your code that the email that you built, which is going to be dynamic in MailChimp, and then drop it in.
So what he was saying is any MailChimp users, you can actually retire MailChimp effectively right now. You just get rid of all your contacts and it reduces you down to a free account. And you can still use the editing tools, which are really phenomenal. Like, we're jealous in a sense of how great they've built their own editing tools. It doesn't mean you can't use them. So you go in, you use them, you build out your really cool looking newsletter, you can just drop it right into our email editor, and it actually works. It's all dynamic. The mobile version works well. The full version works well. So you can actually do that. You can import your email list right into our platform. We know that we're going to be working on probably, with the sales tax, we'll probably bump it back, but we are going to work on email analytics and longer term, and that will actually feed right into the CRM. So you will be able to go within a year probably, go in and see who opened and build a drip campaign off of that. So you can go, hey, I want to create a list that is everyone that opened this email but didn't register for this race. I want to hit them again, right? So we know that is a high priority for everyone. That is on the target list for us, is to have better analytics that are also built in so you can do drip campaigns. They're not going to be as complex as MailChimp and Salesforce, but they're going to be targeted to your core audience, which means that you guys will be able to execute them a lot easier without having to be rocket science. Any questions? Yes,
You're
Rob?
saying the drip campaigns will be available within a year?
That's all right. That would be a rough estimate because first iteration, just so you guys are knowing, is out right now for CRM. Second iteration, we'll probably start working on as soon as Stephen is off of sales tax. Like, that is his next project, right? So that means that he's going to rework the underpinnings of CRM, and that's going to free up Jeffrey to be able to create a whole bunch more filters. So the next version is to work on the imported data, the loosely linked person that is using 2 accounts, and we want to tie them together as one contact. So that is a September, October, based on how fast we can get sales tax done. And then Jeff is off to the races with adding more filters, right? And we might add additional complex compounding filter logic, so you can build really like the challenges that I was just talking about, and then from there, there's a chance we'll get to email. I just don't know if it'll be this Q4. It'll probably be Q1 to Q2, and that may be Symposium next year where you'll be able to do a drip campaign. So I don't want to promise it that we're going to have it quick, but the idea is we know you want it. Very aware, and with the work that we're doing with Facebook right now, it wouldn't surprise me that we do a custom audience export from the CRM list to say.
And you did say that you will, for those Facebook custom audiences, I'm not trying to get off topic, but you'll be able to break them down to distance.
Yeah, so that's a simple filter that this fall, we have type and distance as a type of filter. So the question is when we build these lists, will you be able to do it by type and distance? And yes, we're very aware. Like I said, if you're really interested, I can show you the spreadsheet and you just drop your jaw on how many filters that we plan on adding. If you have any ideas of like, hey, I really want to be able to do this, come talk to me. I likely have already heard it or have thought of it, or Jeff has thought of it. So, like, we've put a ton of human capital into making sure that we do this right over the long term, and we're excited about where we're going. Any other questions? Thank you for coming.